If y'all used to be in the streams, you know what I'm saying? Y'all used to be locked in with a brother. We used to watch Kitchen Nightmares to react. We used to react to Kitchen Nightmares. So this one might be very, very interesting. Also, YouTube, please make sure you hit the sub button and like up, and go ahead and hit that Twitch link. I would love to see you guys in the motherfucking chat box. You feel me? And let's motherfucking get it.
Kitchen Nightmares is one of the most popular and iconic food shows to ever exist. And the concept is pretty simple. There's a restaurant that's failing, Gordan shows up, then he saves the day and everyone's happy. I watch it all the time. But there's this one thing that's always bugged me. Over 70% of restaurants featured on the show still shut down. So in this video, I'm visiting a few restaurants seen on Kitchen Nightmares that are still open to see if Gordan's help actually makes a lasting difference, or is it all just good TV? Good morning, everyone. It's time for breakfast, and what better place to visit than the restaurant featured on Kitchen Nightmares' Season 9 finale, Simmer Down Cafe. Located in Georgetown, Texas, this cute little spot was established in 2017 by a man named Chris Marino. What's crazy is that at the time they were featured on the show, not only was Simmer Down Cafe extremely close to shutting down, but Chris's marriage was also in shambles. Luckily, Gordan pulled up and pretty much saved the day, marriage and all, or at least that's what we saw on TV. Since this technically is the most recent restaurant to be fixed by Kitchen Nightmares, that makes it the perfect place to test whether or not Gordan's changes actually stuck around. So without further ado, let's head inside. Hi, Gordan. Just a table for one. Okay, so I just got seated, and I gotta say, the inside of this restaurant is actually really, really cute. Right when you walk in, they had a cozy looking waiting area that just feels like someone's living room. The walls are painted this bright teal color, and they even had this cool, funky record wall. This is super nice to see, especially because I'll be judging each of the restaurants I visit today based on the major issues Gordan faced when he first visited on the show. Now, food-wise, the menu is fairly simple. They've got all of your classic American breakfast dishes, along with some lunch options like burgers, sandwiches. Y'all get the gist. But personally, what I'm the most interested in is something called their liver and onions. I know that doesn't necessarily sound like the most appetizing thing to eat this early in the morning, but it is what Gordan ordered when he first came here, and he had some thoughts on it, so that's what I gotta get. Thank you so much. Ladies and gents, my food has finally arrived. Here we have a plate of liver and onions served with mashed potatoes, some fried okra, and a biscuit. What's crazy about this dish is that during the show, I believe Gordan actually made them take it off the menu, yet it appears they've added it back. Whether that was a good idea or not, I'm not sure, but there's only one way to find out.
They probably added it back because they know how to cook.
So this dish is definitely interesting. It's for sure not my favorite thing in the world, but I do want to be nice since I'm not quite sure what this dish is actually supposed to taste like. I don't know if this is like a good version of it or not. All I can really do is critique it based on my own personal palate, so keep that in mind. If I'm not mistaken, Gordan's biggest critique when he tried this dish in the show was that it was too salty. Unfortunately, I will have to agree with that. Not only is it overly salty, but I think the liver itself, along with the caramelized onions, might be a little burnt. It has that like burnt, bitter aftertaste, if you know what I'm talking about. I promise, I'm not trying to be mean, but now that I've tried the liver, let's check out the sides. The okra and the mashed potatoes, honestly pretty solid. Alrighty everyone, so I'm done eating, and I'm finally ready to give y'all my official thoughts on Simmer Down Cafe. Like I said before, the inside of the restaurant is extremely adorable. The service was great, but the food though, yeah, that didn't really wow me. I will say this might not be the fairest critique since liver and onions might not be my ideal dish in the first place. But with that being said, it is time to answer the question, did Gordan's changes actually stick? From what I can tell, it seems like most of the physical changes like the decorations did, but since food really is the most important part, I'm gonna have to say no. But before anyone gets mad, that doesn't mean I think this place is doomed or anything like that. I'm pretty sure liver and onions was added back to the menu at the request of a few regulars, so maybe that's not a bad thing. It is time to head to the next restaurant, which just so happens to be only a 12-minute drive away. But before I start driving, let's see what I'm getting myself into. All right, everyone, I've now made it to Grumpy George Pub and Grub. I apologize for anyone offended by that terrible accent. I thought it fit the vibe. The Grumpy George was established in 2023 and featured on the 8th episode of Kitchen Nightmares Season 9. According to the show, the restaurant is supposed to be a classic English pub, but unfortunately, it didn't feel very British. Seeing that Gordan did grow up in England, I'm assuming he was a little offended by this place claiming to be a true British gastropub, hence why he wanted to fix it so badly. Let's go see if he managed to actually make a difference. Now, what's really interesting about Grumpy George is that unlike most places on Kitchen Nightmares, the restaurant itself actually looked great from the start. Lots of reviews highlight that the inside does take people back to what old pubs in England feel like, because of their British-style bar, cozy atmosphere, and the fact that they have a dedicated dart room. Apparently, that's a staple. So instead of being upset about the decor, most of the issues Gordan faced came down to the food. If you take a look at their menu, it definitely feels British, but when Grumpy George first appeared on Kitchen Nightmares, they were serving up something completely different. Even though one of the owners is from England, she didn't have any restaurant experience. Meanwhile, the chef they hired knew nothing about British cooking and was learning how to make the dishes from videos online. If I'm not mistaken, Gordan literally had to do an entire overhaul of the recipes, so we'll see if those flavors stuck around. So my food's been ordered, and I am very curious how long it'll take to arrive. Not because I'm in like a rush or anything, but because during Gordan's first time watching the restaurant operate, food orders were taking up to 50 minutes just to arrive, causing major issues. Hopefully that's not still a problem.
Scotch egg.
Awesome, thank you.
Did you need anything else?
That should be it.
Okay.
Ladies and gents, the food has arrived, and according to my timer, it's only been 10 minutes, which I don't know if you can do the math, but that's a lot less than 50. So here we have a Scotch egg, which happens to be a quintessential British gastropub dish. And of course, since this place is British, your boy had to get some fish and chips. Now, the first thing I want to try are these Scotch eggs, because when Gordan was served them in the show, they were undercooked and apparently looked so bad, he took a photo of them and sent it to his mom. That's crazy work. From the looks of things, my Scotch egg is definitely more cooked than the one Gordan got, considering it's not gushing everywhere. So far, so good. But let's see how this thing tastes. Cheers. That is actually pretty good. Like I said, the egg is not undercooked, but the yolk is still jammy, which I do prefer. The pork is seasoned extremely well. There's a good amount of salt, along with some other spices and herbs that I can't quite pinpoint. You'll just have to trust my word for it. I think it tastes pretty good. I also want to try this with their homemade pico lily. I'm not entirely sure what that is, but I'm assuming it's acidic. I'm still not quite sure what this is, but it definitely brightens up the entire thing. I like it. Pardon the humble flex that I'm about to drop here, but not only have I eaten at pretty much every single Gordan Ramsay fish and chips restaurant in America, I have also been to Gordan's cooking school in the UK and learned how to make proper fish and chips from the teachers that he employed. The reason I'm bringing that up is pretty much to say, I know how this is supposed to taste. First things first, need some lemon.
Especially
now let's cut into it.
Coming from
Not bad. The inside of the fish still looks juicy, flaky, not dry, which is pretty much all you can ask for based off looks alone. Now let's taste it.
I don't think it's not crunchy at all. It looks soft. It looks soggy.
As expected, the fish is nice and flaky, it's cooked very well, tartar sauce is solid. Although the exterior isn't super crispy, it is very light, which means after I'm done here, I will not fall into a food coma, which I appreciate. I know technically I should eat this with utensils, but it's kind of falling apart as I cut it, so I'm gonna use my hands. For dessert, I ordered the sticky toffee pudding, which is another British classic, and I will admit, it was very yummy. Then I paid the bill, which came out to roughly $53, and of course, I had to use my beautiful chime card. If you don't know what with the description, bonus, earn 3 big. Stop doing this terrible accent now. Anyways, let's get right into things. From what I can tell, it seems like Gordan's changes have obviously stuck around. The food was great. It also came out really, really fast. And although I might not be the most qualified person to say this, I'm gonna say it anyways. I think the restaurant felt British. I don't know. That's how I feel about it. So I made it to Harrison, New Jersey, and the spot behind
to watch the episode and then go to the restaurant, that's actually
is called the Spanish Pavilion. Appearing on season 4 of Kitchen Nightmares, this spot has been around since 1976, and it's dubbed the first Spanish restaurant in New Jersey. What's crazy is that Spanish Pavilion is only one out of 2 restaurants from that season that's still standing. Everyone else has since shut down, so let's go see why.
Probably completely
now, upon entering the restaurant, I was honestly a little nervous. In the show, Gordan actually discovered a dead lobster inside their dining room fish tank. Obviously, that was a huge health hazard, so before I could even think about eating, I had to make sure that situation did not happen to me. So I'm not sure if this place looks exactly like it did after it got its makeover on the show, but I do know that the goal was to make the inside feel brighter and more welcoming, which after looking around, I think they're still doing a good job of. The inside feel brighter and more welcoming.
They got rid of this shit. This is gone, look. Now it's this. Huh, interesting. But they kept most of it.
Along with feel brighter and more welcoming, which after looking around, I think they're still doing a good job of. Now, along with updating their decor, Gordan also had them introduce tapas to the menu, which are these small Spanish shareables. Doing so helped differentiate them from the other 40-something Spanish restaurants nearby, which I think was a good idea. Now, as for what I'm gonna get, the first thing Gordan ordered when he came here was their paella, and he absolutely hated it. So what better way to gauge whether Spanish Pavilion has actually improved than to get exactly that? So I just placed my order, and another issue I want to point out from the show is that apparently the service here sucks. When the show aired, the restaurant was run by 2 brothers named Michael and Jerry, who at the time didn't really care about the restaurant, resulting in the staff having no one to lead them. I do believe that in the reunion episode, though, it showed that Jerry ended up taking over, and that does show since the service so far for me has been absolutely fantastic. Along with recommending me some tapas to try, they immediately brought out some bread, and I think this is chicken noodle soup that comes with my meal. It is quite chilly in New Jersey, so chicken noodle soup does sound pretty good. Cheers. You know, that's a pretty good chicken noodle soup. It's very cozy. It's not like the craziest thing I've ever had, but it comes with my meal, which means it's free. Can't complain.
And it's free.
Ooh, thank you so much.
Can I get you anything else?
No, this is fantastic. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I got some bread in my mouth, but the appetizers have arrived. This right here are some artichoke hearts, and over here, we have their braised pork belly. First things first, I'm gonna try these artichokes because vegetables. Cheers. Ooh, that's good. Wait, what? You know when you eat something and you really can't control the facial expression you make? That was the vibe that just happened right there. First off, the artichoke itself is super tender. It's cooked extremely well. What I wasn't expecting was that the sauce that's on it, it's kind of tangy. It's really bright. I don't normally eat artichokes, but if I were to eat them more often, this is how I'd want them cooked. Now that the healthy green stuff is out of the way, time for some pork belly. Now I know I should probably cut this into a smaller piece, but okay, there is no way the food tasted like this before they got on the show. Otherwise, I don't think they would have ever needed to get on Kitchen Nightmares. The pork belly is super tendy. The pork belly is super tender, it's rich, it's like super salty, but the acidity from the diced tomatoes on top really balances it out. Overall, flavor-wise, that was absolutely fantastic. With the tapas being this good, my expectations for the paella are honestly through the roof right now. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, the paella has arrived. Honestly, when I first saw that it cost $36, I was thinking, okay, might be a little expensive. But now that it's in front of me, this looks worth every single dollar. This is beautiful. Damn. So the one I ordered is the Paella Valencia. I was told by my waiter that this is the exact same one that Gordan ordered on the show. So, you know, making sure I'm doing things right. In this skillet, there's chicken, chorizo, shrimp, clams, mussels, scallops, calamari, and langoustines. This is hands down the best looking entree I think I've ever ordered in the history of this channel. I don't even want to break into it because that's how pretty the skillet looks, but I'm gonna do it anyways, because that's my job. I think I've died and gone to seafood heaven. My brain's malfunctioning. So far, 2 out of the 3 major issues Gordan faced when visiting Spanish Pavilion have been cleared, but none of that matters if this paella isn't good.
If they've been smashing
Building
the
your
other
app.
ones, bro, that gotta be good, bro.
On base.
For all my Kitchen Nightmares fans, you need to visit this place. This paella is absolute perfection. First off, it feels like every single element in it, whether it's the chicken, the chorizo, the calamari, it feels like all of those items were cooked individually. Nothing is dry. The rice is fluffy and nice. Flavor-wise, there is so much going on. I am genuinely so impressed by this paella, and I haven't even tried every single part of it. Oh yeah, also, surprise, Jim's here. He's feeling a little shy today though, so that's why I haven't been filming him, but I really wanted him to try the paella. Good?
Jim approved.
All right, everyone. As you can probably tell by my face, your boy's full. I feel like I cleared a good amount of this paella, even though it doesn't look like I've even made a dent. But regardless, I gotta admit, I wasn't expecting too much before walking in here. But after trying the food, I am thoroughly impressed. When Gordan first walked in, it was indeed a nightmare. But in my experience, the restaurant was extremely welcoming. The service was absolutely fantastic. And most importantly, this paella was the bomb diggity. This was phenomenal. Taking all that into consideration, I think it's safe to say that Gordan's changes definitely stuck around and made a huge difference.
Hey, that's why they still in business, nigga.
All right, everyone, things are about to get a little crazy because I've officially made it to sunny Los Angeles, California, and behind me is the one and only Lido
I was wondering if there was
Manhattan.
one in
Featured
LA.
on season 3, which aired over 15
If
years
there-
ago, this
if we-
Manhattan Beach staple is
if-
often
when we
considered
get the
the
chance
most
to go back
successful
out
Kitchen
to
Nightmares
LA,
project ever. But
I'll
when
go here.
Gordon first came to visit, this place was a mess. The owner barely knew how to cook, the kitchen was disgusting, and worst of all, the food was downright terrible. Clearly, the impact Gordan had on this place made a huge difference considering how long they've been open. Not to mention, every single article I could find was extremely positive. However, I want to see for myself if it really lives up to the hype.
Lido. Yeah, you need that.
Okay, now I'll go
know.
inside for real.
Yeah, that's that YouTube. You know what I'm saying?
Hello, I had a reservation. Yeah, just for one. Now, I gotta admit, I was a little thrown off when I walked inside here, because even though Lido's has a great reputation, this place was completely empty.
Holy shit.
As I sat down and looked over the menu, unfortunately, I did begin assuming the worst. What if the reviews are all wrong
And they're
and Lido's
bodied.
actually fell off? But thankfully, in the midst of all my
What
worrying,
if they're bodied?
I'm not sure if y'all can hear that, but other customers have arrived. Are we back? I really don't know why the place being
back?
empty at first threw me off so much. I'm gonna blame it on the fact that I'm extremely hungry, and the only thing I've eaten today is a bag of pretzels on the plane right here. Now, I've also finished looking over the menu, and I gotta say, the food options do sound quite tasty. Because they are considered the most successful Kitchen Nightmares project ever, I'm gonna do things a little differently and order a few items to really put them to the test. So my food has been ordered, and like I said before, when Gordan first visited this place, they had a multitude of issues, but the biggest one had to be with the owner herself. This is Lisa Hemmett. She became the owner of Lido's in 2004, and upon meeting her for the first time, Gordan quickly exposed how inexperienced she was. Not only had she never worked in restaurant management before, she did not know how to cook, couldn't communicate properly with the staff, and if all that wasn't bad enough, she was even dating one of her employees. The good news is, although the episode started off rocky, by the end, Gordan was able to get through to her and supposedly helped to turn things around. I'm pretty sure she still is the owner, and based off of how things are running so far, despite the fact that the place was like empty when I walked in, things do seem to be going well. Service has been great. They even brought me free bread, which I may have demolished while waiting for my food.
Yeah,
Thank
they got a
you.
good sauce
Ladies
with
and
that
gents,
bread,
the
bro.
appetizers have
know what I'm
arrived.
saying?
So over
Okay,
here we
3
have
things.
Lido's
One.
baked eggplant roll and some barbecue chicken flatbread. Now first things first, I have to try this baked eggplant roll because this dish
Nah, this
is also the
good.
first thing Gordan ordered when he came here. He wasn't a fan though, and said it was weirdly crunchy while also being undercooked. Originally, my plan was to get Gordan's exact order, but it seems like a few of the other items he got aren't available anymore. This is literally the only one left, so I'm assuming they've learned how to do it right, but we'll see. Smells pretty good. Cheers. So right away, I can confirm, flavor-wise, it's actually very nice. The eggplant has
It looks
a
way
slight
better than it
sweetness
did
to it
before.
that pairs really, really well with the tomato sauce. And as for the texture, it's nice and tender, perfectly cooked. Wow. It seems like keeping it on the menu was a good idea after all. Yeah, that hits. Next, let's try this barbecue chicken flatbread, which I did have some very specific reasons for ordering. The first being that my waiter recommended it, and you gotta trust your waiter. And secondly, Gordan was the one that made them add flatbreads to the menu in the first place. Cheers. This is also quite nice. The chicken is still nice and juicy, it's not dry, which honestly I wasn't expecting. The flatbread crust is nice and crunchy, while at the same time the inside is still pretty airy for the most part. I think my only critique is that the barbecue sauce might be a little too sweet for my personal taste, but it's not bad. So far, it seems like the items Gordan played a part in, quite tasty. But what about a dish he didn't influence? According to the menu, this is Lido's famous spicy vodka pasta. And the reason why I say famous is because that's literally what they put on the menu. Personally, I've never seen it go viral, but as long as it's good, I don't care if it's famous or not. Here goes nothing. Cheers.
Go like triple platinum for like a produce product.
Hold on a second. I'd like to take one more bite. All right, everyone, I've confirmed my feelings about this pasta. Initially, I thought this would be too good to be true, but Lido's spicy vodka pasta is gas. This is really good. The sauce is a fantastic consistency. It's not too thick, not too watery. It just nicely coats the noodles. Flavor-wise, everything's great. It's exactly what you'd expect out of a spicy vodka pasta. It's got a nice little kick to it. Despite the fact that I am holding them to higher standards than the other Kitchen Nightmare restaurants, it's safe to say they are matching and maybe even exceeding them. I am thoroughly impressed. Hopefully that transition looks cool. I'm filming with my back camera right now, so I can't actually see myself. I don't know if things are lined up properly. As everyone can probably tell, I'm really full. I think the water and bread in the beginning kind of caught up with me. Now, before I pack up and go leave my final review, there is one more thing here that I have to check out. During the reunion episode, Lisa actually invited Gordan back to the kitchen to prove how clean it is. So after asking my waiter, who then had to ask a manager, I somehow was able to get the same opportunity. So I got up and made my way towards the kitchen, curious to see if they really do keep it spotless. Because if they don't, it doesn't matter how good the food is. Ladies and gents, looking clean. All right, everyone, so I'm officially done with my meal, and I can honestly say I definitely understand why Lido's is considered Kitchen Nightmare's biggest success story. The kitchen was clean, the service was fantastic, the food was spot on, and throughout my meal, the place did start filling up, which was nice to see. Based on those factors, it's definitely clear that Gordan's changes stuck around. However, despite me having a good time at most of these surviving spots, it's still a fact that over 70% of restaurants featured on the show shut down. So the real question is, does Gordan Ramsay actually save restaurants? In my opinion, I think he genuinely tries, but at the end of the day, it really comes down to what...
Real quick, because he's about to say it, it comes down to the restaurant. He saves the restaurant, but it's up to the restaurant after he leaves that motherfucker to keep it afloat. And that's their fault. Financially, with the food, with the customers, that's on them, bro.
Those restaurants do with that opportunity. I'm just glad the ones I visited have made the most of it.
Damn. GG, good video.